There's a place in China that I've always wanted to visit. Located at the crossroads of Central Asia, Xinjiang, China's westernmost region, is a land of diverse landscapes and peoples. Its natural beauty and cultural tapestry are both breathtaking. You've probably seen or heard headlines related to these topics about Xinjiang: human rights, forced labor, Xinjiang cotton, genocide. There's a large divergence in the narratives of this region, internationally and domestically here in China. The way that China is dealing with a variety of issues, including combating terrorism in the region, has been interpreted differently by many. Why is this happening, and what is life really like for people in Xinjiang? My name is Keegan Strang, and in this episode of Dialogue with China, we're going to take an open and fair look at these questions. Let's hit the streets.
I know it's a beautiful place. I also read in the news that there's other stories going on, but that doesn't hinder my view of it. I want to go one day. It is on my list of places to visit here in China.
我觉得新疆还是一个比较自由开放的一个地区，虽然它可能少数民族，但是我们少数民族从政府给到各个民族的，比如高考加分也好，各个优惠也好，其实还是很照顾我们少数民族的。它也是一种无中生有的状态，他自己没有去过这个新疆，然后呢，就是无故制造一个事端。
我觉得就是嫉妒吧，还有搅乱人心。
其实应该没有什么太大影响，我感觉咱们国人应该大多还是理智。
我觉得外媒就是靠这些所谓的人权问题啊，来抹黑中国、打压中国，然后来遏制中国的经济发展。
It's just how the English media or the American media then filter that through to the public.
Most Chinese residents are pretty offended by the misinterpretation of Xinjiang. And to try to give you a relatively fair and thorough idea on this matter, I'm going to turn to Hendy Yuniardo, an Indonesian expat living and working in China, who has been to Xinjiang a few times and witnessed first-hand poverty alleviation efforts and the local people's life there. So what is Xinjiang like in his eyes?
Let the China government do the way they think that this is the most effective way. They have their own way to solve the problems, right, related to the security, right. The people, of course, the beauty of scenery there in Xinjiang, I think, is most very amazing scenery, and then the diverse of its people, right, the unique of their culture, their art, and of course the food. Actually, they already live in harmony. Of course, they are very hard work.
I'd like to remind you that none of the people we have talked to have seen the suppression described throughout Western media. Locals say that life in Xinjiang seems pretty normal day to day. That said, there's a tensity in terms of regular road checks and street-side ID checks in the cities, mainly due to previous terrorist attacks. The measures that China have taken to ensure stability and security in Xinjiang, which, while not approved of by some, are actually seen as a success by many countries in terms of combating terrorism and solving social issues. Meanwhile, China is seeking to extend the benefits of its economic development with the people of Xinjiang, and there have been objective increases in income and the standard of living. From 2014 to 2019, Xinjiang's GDP increased from 920 billion to 1.3 trillion. An average annual growth rate of 7.2%. The per capita disposable income of Xinjiang residents also grew at an average of 9.1%. Chinese government statistics indicate that all of the 3 million people in Xinjiang that have been living below the poverty line have been lifted out of poverty. So back to the beginning. Why has Xinjiang been interpreted negatively by some Western media outlets? To find out the answers, we visited Professor Jiang Fei, Dean of the School of International Journalism and Communication at Beijing Foreign Studies University.
对于新疆事件的报道过程中，打着真实客观的这样一种幌子的时候，它只能蒙蔽那些对这样的一个媒体报道的历史，以及的话呢，这个媒体报道国际传播格局不了解的人。说从表象上来说，目前在媒体领域中外之间的隔阂呢，就体现在各国的话针对媒体政策的 那么更往深里的话呢，它其实的话呢是一个媒体背后的国家的力量和这种国家之间关系的这样的一种博弈。但是呢，即便是这两个边界都突破了，还有一个更深的边界，那就是基于历史文化所形成的这种修辞，那种西方高高在上，这个所谓的这个他们是文明的，其他世界是野蛮的，这种话语框架很难随着政治的变动而改变。
For most people in the West who have never been to Xinjiang, it is a place of mystery and danger. But for many that have been, it is not nearly as bad as some make it out to be. The media should bring real problems to light and do so objectively and responsibly, instead of consistently demonizing China on false premises. Meanwhile, as individuals, fostering communication and personal experience can help to bring answers to a lot of questions. That's all for this episode of Dialogue with China. See you next time.